right, I'm bored, so I'm going to teach you how to do 3D printing. If you have an NFT with a 3D file or 3D asset included with it, like this NFT here, this is Approximate. With the Approximate, we have these 3D files, okay? Now, when you have 3D files, you can do things. This is a 3D printed version of that same model, right? You just keep doing it. You just keep printing them. It's fucking sick. Doing this, not as hard as you think, and I'm gonna show you right now how to do it. You got two options here. You can do, let me import my boy real quick. You're gonna import your FBX or your VRM model. This one's going to be in FBX because that's just what I have for this model right now. T-pose. VRM model, right? It's here. It's looking at us. This is Kaijo. Say hello, Kaijo.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo soy Kaijo.
So, if we wanted to, we can take this model here and go to pose mode and go to wireframe and like make him do whatever, you know, just object mode. Cool. So now he is just standing there, right? First off, to get this pose, see how it's attached to the skeleton whenever I move it around? That is an issue. And if we just delete the skeleton, he goes back to T-pose, but he's super big and wonky. What I'm going to do here is go on the right side. All right, I'm going to actually click himself. Go to the right side. See how it has a modifier already and it's attached to the skeleton? There's a little drop down here. We're going to click that little drop down and click apply. You get this message down here. Modifier cannot be applied to a mesh with shape keys. What does that mean? So this model right here does have facial shape keys, which means that like if you look over here on the right side, it has like cheek puff. I can adjust this number right here and you see his cheeks. So when you have a model like this, there's 52 shape key kit. And when you have a 52 shape key kit, you can attach things like your iPhone. The way it scans your face to unlock it, it searches 52 points on your face to make sure that they match with yours. So you can take that same data and have apps like iFacial Mocap and send that 3D data to your 3D character. That's how I've done things like this. And this, it's easy because this model has that. You cannot apply that modifier. So we're going to go to this little drop down right here and we're going to delete all shape keys. Boom. Look at that. Now there's nothing there.
Yeah, boy.
And we're going to go back to the wrench, the modifiers, drop down, apply. That's it. Delete the skeleton. He's going to get big. Just make sure he doesn't do that. Whoa. I'm going to do RX 90. That switches him up, and I'm gonna just get scale it back down. So now I'm gonna add a cube so I can see how tall he is. So a cube is a meter. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. All right, cool. So now he is posed and he isn't attached to anything. He's just a regular GLB like this, right? Last step, press tab. On the top left of here, there's point, edge, and face. We're going to make sure we're in point. We're going to press A to make sure all the vertices are highlighted, and then press M. Merge, M, merge, and then by distance. By distance. If you press by center, he's going to boop, that little dot right there, that's him. So yeah, don't do that. You're going to press A, M, by distance. And you'll even see down here, sometimes it says removed hella vertices. So what that means is now all of these little points are all connected. So like if you try to 3D print this without those things connected, it would give you a bunch of errors. So now we have a model, a character model that is posed. All the vertices are connected, so it's all one individual mesh, and it is ready for export. I personally just do GLBs. I know most printers take STLs, but GLBs are just fine to just drag and drop in most cases, but Blender can export a few different file types. So go test, Kaijo test. We're going to export that to our downloads. Each 3D printer usually has its own like slicing software. So this step probably won't look the same, but in essence, you're going to take your 3D printer software install it, and you're going to put the GLB that we just made and throw that into the software. You'll see what that looks like in just 1 second. So this is Ultimaker. Here is what we use at my college to do stuff. And I know that we use an Ender S1 Pro. So let's go click that real quick. So basically what this does when you choose a printer like this, it just sets the parameters for the virtual environment, right? So some printers are bigger than the others. They get bigger little virtual spaces. Some printers are smaller, they get smaller ones. So that's all this is. All right. So here we have my slicer. Slicer meaning the thing that takes your 3D model and turns it into a 3D printed thing. So this is that file that we just made, Kaijo test. And I'm just going to copy and drag it right there. So you see in here, this is the model we just made. I'm going to just rotate it like this. Put it in the center so you can just see it. So this is the model we just made, right? It's in the same pose, it's everything. Model errors, we're going to get that. On the bottom, I'm going to press slice on the bottom right. And then I'm going to preview. This is what he looks like. This is exactly what he looks like. And this is kind of what you get when you do that. There are plenty of like 3D, like how to 3D print stuff. So if you do get a 3D printer, want to do this, just make sure you get the right parameters for the 3D printer and the spool of like filament you're using. Each filament has different temperature, different speed, different all that stuff. So just make sure your parameters are good. But how you get your character 3D printed, that's all it takes right there. It's really easy. If you have any experience with Blender, you're already like literally 50% done with the work. You just import model, make sure it's not attached to a skeleton so it's not T-posed, and then export as a GLB or STL, import into your slicer. That's it. You know, it's not that hard. These guys, I just did a little painting on the face and arms and stuff. Not that great because I'm not that good of a painter and it's whatever, but that's the idea. You know, you can do whatever. My next goal is to do a Bit Beast head, but with a USB holder in the top of it. So it's just a little tiny cube head that sits there with the USBs sitting on the top. So yeah, thanks for being here. I love you. I love you a lot. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. I'm gonna go edit this and smoke. Bye. Thanks for chilling around.